Alright everyone, welcome back again. We do just hop in as the action has begun to go down over towards long here. Astralis were looking for that quick control. They didn't really use any utility though, I believe, on the initial push outwards, so they'd end up struggling with it a small bit. For the moment though, having Carrigan pinned down in that pit on low health, he is definitely in trouble. And despite having a couple players a little bit further back on long with that smoke down in the corner, they're not really able to do much about stopping the players from getting up close to him. So he will eventually go down. Overall though, Mouse, I don't think they're in the worst position having this 3-on-3, but obviously Astralis having the long control, being on the T side, having the ability now to move back and really bring this anywhere they want, moving as a unit. They will be in a favourable position for sure, and it looks like they want to favour back towards B now. Most of the players moving back towards the tunnels. And it's just Chris J already dinked up actually in the back of the bomb site.
Chris isn't going to have the easiest of holds, just locking it down at the moment with a head peek angle. That's going to be his best shot. He's got the kit, so at least it'll be on B if they do lose it. That really, he has to be finding 2 kills as they come through. That's not an easy task. Jump peek across. They know where he is. They're spamming away, ready to take him down. He's on 1 HP. Still hasn't found a kill. His teammates on the rotate. He's trying to delay them as much as he can, but they're already out on the bomb site, and it's now or never. He needs to land one of these shots. He can't get it done. The rotate already through from Rops, who comes in through the window. Not able to spot them, and he doesn't want to peek wide into these pistols just yet. Catches one player up behind the pillar, but not going to be able to take him down. And as the smoke fades, Woxic falls. So too does Rops. And that is going to be it for Astralis, taking the first round here on Dust2. After such a dominant map 1, mousesports really need to make sure Astralis don't get off to a strong start. And a 4-spy coming through already. A scout making an appearance for Carrigan. Alongside Deagles, it's a really powerful buy. Double scout setup as well.
Yeah, we've always said we like to see this buy just because the scouts, if they can tag down a couple people, make it easier for those Deagles and the CZs, and obviously vice versa, if the pistols get some damage, makes it easier for the scouts, so they can definitely combine to do a lot. Again though, Astralis just going for this long control, this time having the favourable weapons, of course, with that rifle leading the way, and pretty much instantly Magisk able to get himself one. Again, the smoke on the corner also just makes it so difficult for anyone really to be able to try and actually trade it out. So at that point, mousesports are just forced to actually give up this long control, concede it, and fall back towards the bomb site, where at the moment they do have both of these scouts positioned. So there's definitely a chance here maybe if a couple headshots can be connected for a little bit of a recovery. And indeed, Carrigan right now fighting that player in the pitch, struggling somewhat. Just popping up and down, baiting out those shots, and in the meantime, Astralis now, I believe, looking to try and get the short control as well. If they can get that short control, obviously, it'd be very difficult for them to hold down A, being able to actually just split in towards the bomb site, so it could be massive if they do lose it, and indeed, as soon as that player who was pushed up drops, now they're, Carrigan, I mean, rather, just being in so much trouble on this bomb site.
And talking about him being in trouble, he gets deleted, and Rops is left alone. And Deagle pick comes through, but he's running over to B. Get on out of here. There's some rifles. Maybe he could be able to pick up. If he catches a couple of exits, they are going to try to hunt him down. I think he realizes peeking into CT would probably be the end of him. He moves around to spawn. I mean, for Rops at the moment, he's got armor. He's got a Deagle. Saving it isn't the best. But if they do hunt him down aggressively, as with an SMG they're likely to do, maybe he picks something up. Drops another set of armor from his opponents and just weakens them that little bit more. But Astralis make the right call. They push to the top mid. Device decides he's just going to hold down. If Rops used to push the spawn, maybe he gets the kill. He definitely takes the fight, but with Rops just tucked in a corner, it's not worth hunting him down and getting shot in the side of the head by a Deagle.
Yeah, I mean, carrying over the Kevlar, obviously, and the Deagle going to give him a bit to work with in this round. We will just see the full eco, as you said, not really able to afford even any pistols. We do see one Deagle actually coming out for Frozen. They get, what, 2,900 in this next round, so it won't really impact us by giving them a little bit more of a chance here, as you said, to just keep the damage on. If they can keep the economy modest for Astralis, and with that then potentially take the open and gun round, they can put themselves in a decent position early on. But for now, this round we're not really expecting too much. It does seem like a couple players want to try and get aggressive around mid-doors right now. Unfortunately, not having a flash to throw over to try and peek with. Instead, Carrigan tries to just creep out and play the contact, and he ends up getting taken down, unfortunately. So I would imagine this is going to be pretty straightforward. It does seem like Dupree wanted to try and, I guess, pressure around mid there. I wouldn't like to see them have someone push out immediately, though, just because, as we do see, it is that stack, and it would be very risky indeed, though. 2 players just walk out tunnels, and with that, they clean up B. The final player being Woxic, left at the car, having a USP. There's absolutely nothing that he can do from this position right now, unless he somehow gets a quick double dink on Dupree.
Yeah, it's not a round where Astralis should be losing too much, and it's not a round where they do. In the end, Woxic goes down without too much impact really coming through. And Astralis able to get themselves a full buy with plenty of cash left in the back pocket. Dupree, the only one that needs to drop over. And I think all in all, you're going to be pretty happy if you're having this strong of an early start on your opponent's map pick with it being Dust2. You're not worried about things getting a little too complicated later on. And look at Mouse with a double op setup coming through on Woxic and Chris J. Woxic heading over towards mid to start things off. Will he be taking a peek up behind that smoke? He spots out that no one's here. He'll just be holding the angle as the challenge goes down on long. Chris J flashed off the angle, goes all the way back up to CT. And mousesports losing control of long. They've got Frozen pushed up on short, but they've lost any access in towards the pit where Astralis are going to tuck down and then spread out for map control, having claimed one of the more important pieces early on. We said that Mouse on Inferno struggled to take any map control themselves on their CT side. They were very passive. And I think we're seeing a lot of the same here just in this round already. They've got a little bit of action going down on short, but they're happy to allow Astralis to push out and execute later on into the round. For now, they're also pretty happy that they're making the right reads, still keeping a 3-man stack on A. Obviously, having lost long, you're always going to be worried about it. And as Astralis group up to execute out, this could get very dangerous with still a flash for Frozen. If they smoke the cross, Chris J could fade through, but they're actually going to go in for the peaks up close. Very dangerous considering they know that mousesports can have ops now.
And indeed, I mean, Chris J in that could be corner is smoked off for now. Actually tries to just rattle off a shot through, and with that potentially even take a little bit of attention. I mean, Carrigan up on the bomb site right now, actually, I was gonna say in a good position, ends up getting mollied. So, I mean, so far, good job. mousesports are definitely slowing this down. Unfortunately, taking a little bit of damage in the meantime, and eventually Carrigan trying to play around that smoke will be dropped. With that now, I would imagine that they should be able to get this bomb plant pretty much uncontested, unless Chris J tries some mad jumping stuff. And I think they may just concede this round already. I mean, you see Frozen beginning to fall back a little bit. I think also worried that someone's trying to flank him from top mid, obviously. But we also haven't really seen those 2B players leaving that side of the map yet. And it's understandable. They don't have a defuse kit. They have barely any utility. And importantly, they have a double op setup. So carrying that into the next round will be massive. And also trying to retake with the double op setup can be quite difficult sometimes too. But again, another round to Astralis. All 5 players looking like they will be able to survive. They could, in theory, if they wanted, go out and try and do a little bit of hunting here, see if they can maybe take some of these weapons away, but I think they're, at this point, just happy to sit in the pit and build up some money.
You can see Mouse are that little bit too scared of Astralis. Like, they're seeing early contact, heavy contact, out towards long, and no reaction really comes in to get more aggressive on short or more frequently, more commonly seen to push up into B tunnels and try to get some info there. Instead, they took down in their 3-2 setups. They're not trying to be proactive. And this is because of what we've seen from Astralis again and again, playing a very slow T side. On Inferno, they were executing with 30 seconds left on the clock at most in those maybe first 5 or 6 buy rounds. And so Mauser worried that, okay, if they take early long control, they might be sat outside B. They might still have a player mid waiting for me to peek. So they just took in and they turtle the round, but that gives Astralis all the room to execute, just like we're seeing now. Quite quickly, flashes out. Chris J picks up one, a good start for them, but they lose Robs. And with just the op in the back of the site, missing his shot, I don't think Chris J's long for this world. Stuck behind the box, going out for a peek, and shut the hell down. Flank coming through on short as well. Look at Dupree's position, Dean. This is going to be devastating when he drops down. Should be a couple of players for him to farm.
Yeah, indeed. Even goes a little bit further back just to make sure that the sound cue won't be heard. Obviously spotting that first player now, being patient, eventually having to tap off, but it's as the flash comes over. So the other players didn't even immediately realize where it came from, because of course they were blinded. It obstructed the sound a little bit, and Dupree is allowed to just clean up with all 3 kills. Perfect position there for Dupree on the lurk, able to flank down, and it's a 5-0 lead now for Astralis. A little bit of a closer round there, obviously. Coming through with only 3 players surviving. That's, I believe, the closest gun round we've seen from them so far, anyway.
I mean, Dean, this really sucks for Mouse. They're on the verge of potentially going down into red. They will not be making it forward in Stage 2 of ESL Pro League if they lose this match here, more than likely. Well, Astralis would then would knock them down a notch, so it would only be head-to-heads with Na'Vi, so very dependent on the Fnatic Na'Vi match going on right now. This is not the way they want things to unfold, and they're losing players left, right, and center. This round's fallen apart for Mouse with a full investment, and they've seen nothing. No reward for what they got. as it's Rops and Woxic in a 2 versus 5. Split up as well. Not in the same positions at all. Rops over towards the B side. Woxic still holding short this whole round. And Astralis, they're just showing no weakness right now.
Yeah, I swapped the Rops there thinking he had a good position around the scaffolding. Maybe he could have caught that mid lurker, but he got absolutely wrecked instantly. Leaving it all on Woxic. He's on short right now, so there's no way he escapes from here. I was going to say he's surrounded on all sides, so saving the op is probably not an option unless he manages to get another kill here. That'll allow him to run away. Unfortunately, he actually doesn't spot the head there of Xyp9x, so he will end up falling to the AK, and with that, it is 6-0 now for Astralis. What was it, 16-3 back on the first map? We were saying Dust2 should be much more eventful than we had back on Inferno, but so far that is just not the case. I mean, looking pretty similar, except for back on Inferno, mousesports, they were able to at least win the pistol, so they had a round at this point.
I'll give you the good news, Dean. The first map of Fnatic versus Navi is over, and it was 16-13 to Fnatic. So Mouse still looking like they might be okay as long as Navi don't reverse sweep it. Oh, the pistols early on, they're getting some reward. Karrigan onto Dupree. Let's see what else they can muster as Frozen's up close alongside Karrigan trying to take the fight. The smoke's blocking off some of the angles, and the AK is showing their superiority on the spams. Up close here, Woxic should be spotted as well, and yes, he is coming around the back of the smoke with just Rops, known to be the B player. I don't think he's going to get all too much done here. Just a deagle and a dream.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that dream for him is to steal away a weapon, because I don't think at this point he'd even be considering trying to win the 1 versus 4. Unless somehow he was able to catch the player with the bomb or something, rotating through spawn, for example, if it was somehow out of place. But obviously that's not the case, so he is for the moment trying to see if maybe he can find someone lurking around. If he gets a rifle, perhaps he can carry it over an AK or even a Krieg, potentially. Of course, we know there's not a Krieg in play. And that's something teams have been doing. I don't know if you were just going to say it there, but some teams have been kind of not buying the Krieg as much on their T side, just to avoid actually giving it over to the CTs, because it can be such a useful weapon.
No, I was going to look at... I've just done a little bit more research on how the brackets are currently set, and I missed something my first time around.
Okay.
Astralis versus Na'Vi wouldn't put the... Because of the match they had, Na'Vi won versus Astralis, which means that Na'Vi should remain in top 3. If Astralis win this, they knock Mouse down to 4th.
Oh, okay. So them losing this is 100% then them out of the
100%. Because regardless of what happens with Na'Vi, then Astralis would be above, and Mouse should be then completely destroyed. This is very, very scary. If Mouse lose this, they're completely out. And at the moment, I think they're already out of the game, checked out. It doesn't look like they turned up today. I mean, out of all the rounds we've seen played so far across 2 maps, mousesports have found 3. That's not good.
Yeah, and they were a map ago, so it's been a while now for sure. Again, the opening kill does go in favor of Astralis. It's actually Xyp9x, who's still out on long right now. I was going to say maybe it would bring us back to him. Unfortunately, it did not. Karrigan, though, able to get that return. So a 4-on-4. I think Astralis, though, still pretty happy with what they've been able to get. You can see that was kind of just to pull some players towards that side of the map, because right now the full focus is this B split. Fortunately for mousesports, Chris J, he actually shuts down the 1 player that was moving in from tunnel, so that immediately forces Astralis to reconsider what they're doing here. And it looks like they are going to try and just fall back off and actually catch that long aggression. Karrigan, once the B split, I suppose, was called in, tries to flank out. Glaive going to be able to catch one in the CT spawn. And suddenly the A bomb site is just completely fallen. A plant going to come in. mousesports again left in a very difficult retake in the 2-on-3. And unless Chris J can do something quickly here from short, then this one's probably over.
It looks like it might be. Chris J creeping forward. He's going to be spotted from the AWP, and that indeed seals the fate of the round. Rops legged as he tries to get away, trying to save the rifle. Run, boy, run. They're chasing him down. Drops the rifle up. So he's got a nice fresh AWP to pick through, and he's going to go towards the doors. No, he hears steps in the tunnels. They're coming up behind him. No, but they think he's in T-spawn. He might just escape with this. The time becoming quite low.
Oh,
he looks to move forward, scope in hand. They're ready, though. They're actually flashing around. He picks up one, but he's blind. And that's the end of the op. And very soon, it could be the end of the dreams for mousesports. Now, on the other hand, that I said Mouse would be in a position where they wouldn't be able to make it through. It still could be affected by the Na'Vi versus Fnatic result. So we still have to hold on to our hats and glasses before we conclude where things are at. But Astralis would guarantee themselves the spot up there if they overtake Mouse. And that's really where the fear factor comes from, because then Mouse are gambling on their opponents losing what is currently a very close series. I mean, they lost the first map 16-13, so it's not like it's a safe bet.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not looking at it right now, but I'm not sure perhaps whose map pick was that first map that we know.
Let me jump through and check. One click away. So Inferno was the pick of Fnatic as well, and it was 16-13 to them.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I have actually just brought it up myself now. Nuke coming up next, I think, is definitely one that Na'Vi would be faring a lot better on there versus Fnatic. And then when it goes over to Overpass as well, another strong map for both teams. So that one definitely could still go either way. But right now, we, of course, do have to focus back on this matchup. It's 8-0 at the moment for Astralis. They are making the T-side of Dust2 look very, very easy. And it is likely that they will find one more round here before they actually have to go up against a full buy from Mouse. This one's just pistols, Kevlar, and whatever few nades they could afford. I do like that they're going for some aggression. Two players pushing up on short, but Dupree, I believe, is watching for it, indeed. Able to do some damage. It is Magisk, I believe, who also will try and follow up now on mid as they spot Woxic as they spam him down. He's trapped in that corner. Unlikely he lives very long now as the nade goes in.
And that's the end of Woxic's story, and Frozen as well. Robs has been spotted on B. He's just got the Deagle. Looking to work with it. But he's been split as well. And that's how that story ends. mousesports looking at a 9-0, facing into it. I wouldn't even say potentially. If Carrigan finds a kill, he's probably just going to save the rifle. It's Device, but Device is out in the open. Doesn't give him a great chance to pick it up. And see already he would have had to face Sipnix as he moves back through the tunnels. A very low HP player of Dupree is actually the one that's leading the charge as they rush on through. Blade gonna go back out in front. Makes sense. With 100 HP, he should be the one taking the fight versus the CZ. But then again, in that situation, I'm saying that from a perspective of you don't want to be having to reinvest, yada yada. Look at Astralis' money. They're past the point of reinvesting. They've got so much money.
Oh yeah, no, they're not going to have any issues. I mean, there's 6 rounds left here in the half, 5 after this one, because of course they've already invested into this round. So even if they were to begin to run out of money, somehow if they lost all of those remaining rounds, I mean, they'd still have enough towards the end with the loss bonus that comes in. So it really does have to be mousesports trying to claw back 6 gun rounds in a row pretty much. And right now, unfortunately, that long control, again, just going straight over to Astralis. mousesports, they try and challenge it around the smoke, but it just makes it so difficult for them to actually work together. As soon as they peek around, the first player drops, the second then is left just peeking the exact same angle pretty much. As Chris J is left to try and recover something around this area now, playing from the car.
He's got the AWP, so perhaps a chance, but Astralis not going to be giving him one. Only goes through. I don't think it actually landed.
No, it popped right above the car.
Oh, and that's
a big mistake.
Kill immediately. Absolutely. And the rotate coming through now. I mean, if that molly hit, they'd catch him leaving. Maybe a kill on the A-bomb side, but now the round's in jeopardy because of it.
One positive being, though, that Rops is at the moment just playing kind of retake on B. Outside on scaffolding in a position where he could work with Chris J. Actually going to realize now as he peeks in the window that the flash has come true, and unfortunately the second one does blind them up. Deals out a bit of damage at least, as Chris J is here to try and help out as well. Seeing if he can maybe catch one on the cross there with the spam. Unfortunately, though, I don't think they can really do too much about it anymore. Smokes go down. They've been locked out at a bomb site. They have no utility at all for the retake. Do at least have one defuse kit. But when you look again that they have the double off setup, which they kind of need to bring into this next round to actually have a buy, they just need to, again, back away. And Astralis have so much money, they don't care. The second they realize this is a save, they're going to start trying to hunt it down. And already Zipix is actually pushed out and dropped Rops. So at best now, 2 weapons being saved, meaning they don't have enough to actually drop over to everyone who needs it in this next round.
It's the AWPs as well being saved forward. Luckily, they're far enough away that Astralis shouldn't be able to challenge them. And indeed, as they move towards the bomb site, it's the long-range angles, not really where you want to be challenging the ops. As time ticks away, the op firing off in the distance. They know what they want to take down. The swing around, this is dangerous now. Woxic is lit down to 23. He's holding it, but he gets the shot off in time. Deletes Glaive before the weapon can be stolen away, but that kill itself was a large percentage of the kills that mousesports have found in this game. I mean, the highest fragger right now is Woxic with 4 in round number 11. This is insanity. A timeout here for the CT side, and I think it's fair enough to say that they have got a bit to talk about in terms of their tactics and how they're approaching this. This is just insane. I mean, mousesports, just a few months ago, they were the team everybody was calling as the ones to watch right now. There's not a lot to watch, I'll be honest.
No, I mean, even just looking at the more stats, you see kind of a little bit of a trend with the enemies flashed. Even you can see Astralis have definitely been using that utility well. A lot of those enemies flashed have been over towards long, as I said, putting down that smoke pretty much every time that they're working towards that area of the map, just on the corner, and then throwing loads of flashes in and just making it impossible for Mouse to challenge. And when they do, they get messed up. Oh, that was very, very unfortunate. The Vice was jumping there, ended up actually getting dinked by the auto sniper. I believe Chris J getting dinked down through the smoke as well. Right now, though, on long, there is again a couple of players from Mouse trying to challenge the corner, and as we see Carrigan fall, Frozen left with few options, does retreat back to the spawn. One of the ops already being taken down low. The Vice, despite being 50 in health, actually challenges mid and manages to win out against Rops as well. So already just a 5-on-3. I mean, here's a chance for Chris maybe if he can connect towards top mid, but unfortunately not going to be able to do so. Does live for the moment himself. That is one positive. So they still have the 2 ops.
So far, they've been able to do precious little with them, and as the smokes go down on the cross, it looks like we may be seeing a repeat of that. Going for a save this late on in the game is, I mean, incredibly unlikely. Double smokes on the cross, molly for the site, they'll make it over. Chris J has to do something about this. Is a molly going for him? Oh no, Chris J, he's taken down by the bullets just before. The Zipnix gets a double, and Woxic now in a 1v5, AWP in his hands and a bullet in his head. 11 rounds for Astralis. They are not taking their foot off the gas pedal. And mousesports, I don't know what kind of form they've turned up in today, but it was not the one they needed for what is potentially their last chance to continue on in the top. Again, they're gambling on Na'Vi losing that game, and that is a very risky gamble to take.
Yeah, that molly, though, was absolutely perfect into the corner there where Chris J was playing, I believe, around Gandalf, thrown directly on top of him. It just kind of made things even worse, as Zipix, I believe, at the exact moment was also taking a little bit of a peek. Right now, though, over on B, I believe that was Glaive who just pushed straight towards the tunnels, was able to find Chris J on the platform. Rops was also nearby, but wasn't really able to do much. Instead, just had to drop his Molotov to make sure that they couldn't commit off the back of it. So again, Astralis, within just kind of moments of the round having begun, already sitting with a pretty nice advantage for themselves, a pretty firm one. It does look like mousesports are considering some aggression potentially around long. I thought Carrigan maybe was going to try and go through the doors, but he decides against it. For now, though, that commitment indeed finally will come into B, and the nearest player being Woxic. Having that AWP, I guess the goal is to try and pick one off as they actually cross. Unfortunately, though, the smokes going down make that very difficult.
Okay, Device on top mid's being spotted. That's maybe a kill to come through. The trade is at least found. And a 1v3 for Frozen retaking B. There's another kill on the board. Surely he goes for it at this point. He suspects a player to be pushing middle and hopes he can catch him off guard. But no, Dupree is just tucked in and taking his time, and Frozen realizes his chances of winning this round are very low, but they won't have a buy-up in the next round, at least not a strong one. They'll be lacking any AWPs. Astralis at the moment, this is ridiculous. Magiska's been playing so well all game long. He entered into B, didn't find a duel, but Dupree was the one to trade it back. And although they're losing players, and usually this would be significant, the only thing that maybe secures is Frozen getting an AWP. And yeah, he'll get that.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, there we go.
He'll get that up close. I left that a little bit late. But, I mean, that's... Okay, having the op is not insignificant. It's definitely a good thing. But Astralis don't care about losing 3-4 players. They've got money for the rest of the half. They've got money for the game if they were allowed to carry it forward. They're 12-0. What is this? It's just 2. We call this the even map, the aim map, the 50-50. This is far from it.
We're getting auto snipers again. No team damage this time, I don't think, Mitch, so a bit of an improvement even for Astralis. Not too much damage, at least being done. It was only Woxic who made it across. Once they got one player over, they were like, okay, we'll just have to leave it on Woxic, hope they aren't rushing B while the auto snipers are spamming. And that isn't the case. I mean, Astralis not doing anything too crazy. They've gone ahead and traded back over to their rifles and are just continuing on with a default right now, knowing that they are going to have the better weapons overall. They don't need to force the issue and really give these pistols the chance up close that they would want. And right now, I believe Xyp9x does realize there's some players close to the door. There's definitely some shots rather being fired off. Overall, though, still no actual damage being connected for mousesports. They've had a few players tagged down heavily and haven't really been able to deal anything at all out.
I think it's worth saying, you know, this is round number 13 where the auto snipers came out. Not what you see every day. Oh, the swing from Dupree. Maybe they are getting a little bit careless. The signal of the auto snipers. As they go out there for a peek on a B and realize there's an op in play, which they should have guessed would have been saved over. Damage taken by Xyp9x trying to 1v1 the pistols on long as they go to push forward again into the op. No trade possible. mousesports might be looking at their first round on the board. No surprise, it's the one where the autos came through. The confidence playing in a little bit, but even still, Dean, I'm not an expert on this. I can't say that I'm in Astralis' comms or as knowledgeable about them as I'm sure the players and the coach is. Oops. But I don't think they're going to be tilted at giving away a round. I think that's affordable.
Oh, Device, he'd been trying to play around tunnels for a while, eventually traded out to the rifle, and as he tried to go above the smoke, it didn't work out. Xyp9x, though, goes up on the exact same angle and does catch 2 kills for himself. As we can see, though, the time is so low. There's already the quick flank coming in through tunnels. The Molotov actually doesn't land on window. That could have given him the chance to maybe get that bomb planted, perhaps have an opportunity to force the 1v1 against the player at the tunnels. But I believe it just popped a little bit too high. So we do see mousesports eventually getting themselves around, and they do it off the back of just pistols and then the one AWP that was saved over. So a very strong round. Good work by Woxic, who was able to pick up 2 kills, I believe it was. And Mouse, let's see if they can actually do anything now off the back of this round. As you said, Astralis obviously don't have any issues buying back in. mousesports, they do have the double op setup, plenty of utility, and if they can pull it back to 3 rounds, maybe there is some hope. But can they hold down this long control? Again, they've been having trouble here time and time again, and it doesn't seem like it's going to change right now because they are just being cleaned up. They get a couple of trades, but that's it. It's left onto those 2 B players now to rotate over.
Yeah, Dupree was playing solo B again, just distracting them. Not quite lurking so much as just straight fighting them. As he gets naded down and killed, it doesn't matter. They've bought themselves the time to get onto the bomb site. Xyp9x turns, and through the smoke, Rops goes down into the ground as Chris J in a 1v3 is about to be flanked out on short. Takes the fight and gets the kill. Christian is looking for it, but Xyp9x, he's good for 2. It scared me there in the last round where Xyp9x was left in the 1v4 and they start peeking him like, of all the players, please don't give him the opportunities. You need a round at least on the board.
Yeah, I was a little worried. Especially with how low the time was. They didn't really need to be peeking him. They could have just waited out the extra 5 seconds and given him no option. Maybe even killed him after time. Obviously, that wouldn't even matter because they have so much money. But they didn't need to take those risks. It did work out for them, though. But not in this one. Not in that previous round, rather. Now it's 13-1 Astralis. They lost 1 round. They come straight back. And they are looking to close this half out with 14. They're like, okay, we didn't get a flawless one, but 14, it's enough. It'll do. But looking at the buy for Mouse. 2 ops. They still have the ops, at least. These have been really all that we've seen work out for them at points, I suppose. Frozen's had a couple of rounds, but of course it was Woxic there when he got a couple kills, and when the mid players were able to also trade out a few frags that really did give them that 1 round. And it's interesting that wasn't even a gun round.
What's kind of scary to me, though, is the time that we saw it work was when Astralis were playing completely loose. They Dupree just dry peeking tunnels. He died. Then they went in again, dry peeking it with 2 to try and trade frag. They thought they knew they were up against mostly pistols, and you could see they weren't stressed about the round overall. That's a fantastic pick to start this one off from Device. Another comes through as Chris J answers eventually. It's too little too late. Dupree's in, trading back. Woxic's on 15 HP, and mousesports again, heads in their hands, wondering what the hell they could have done better. And luckily, after this game, they'll have a lot of notes to take. I mean, you learn the most from the times you get defeated pretty badly, and I think this is going to be the biggest learning experience of the year for mousesports. I mean, they picked us too, and as much as it may seem cruel, I'm glad this happened. I hate it when teams picked us too. And this is kind of why. But
I don't think normally picking Dust2 means they're going to get smashed 14-1 potentially at the half. bit of hope right there as Carrigan did get himself one, but unfortunately goes down immediately afterwards, and Woxic only able to find the one trade as well before he falls. So it is 14-1 indeed at the halftime here. Astralis have done what I didn't think was possible after map 1 and have made it an even more one-sided map.
This is absolutely ridiculous, Dean. I'm struggling to find the words to describe what I'm seeing. The fact that this is so one-sided to Astralis. Look, no doubt, Astralis are a strong team, but how recently mousesports were held in high regard, how they started out the season, indeed. They topped their group. They were destroying the teams in it. And this is what we're left with. A total of 4 rounds in 3 halves. Absolute insanity.
The question is, can they add to it? Because we didn't see them managing to pick up the pistol there back on Inferno, and that's what gave them no opportunity at all to even try and mount a bit of a comeback on that second half. This time it's even more one-sided. Even if they do win the pistol, they're still going to have pretty much no room to make the comeback happen. It will have to be flawless if they want to win in regulation. Obviously, if they were to lose one round, the best they're fighting for is overtime. So it's just all around a very difficult position for Mouse to be in right now. I mean, they need a near impossible comeback at this point, and then they also need to get a map number 3 after it. So it's such a long road ahead of them. As always, guys, we do have a few minutes just at the break before we get back into the second half, and I'm sure Mouse aren't too upset with having a moment to perhaps cool off after how that one actually went.
I mean, again, though, it comes down to the issue with Mouse being when they're up against Astralis, you can see that those slow Astralis T sides have really got them worried about playing aggressive, getting up in their opponent's faces. When they see early A-long contact, they're not pushing tunnels. They're not even trying to peek down middle. They're playing a tight turtle defense. And that's exactly what Astralis want. They want mousesports to play safe, not rotate, not get any information, and then just execute in on them. Their executes are really where they shine through. And you could see in that entire half, with the exception of the round where they bought auto snipers, dry peaked ops again and again, it looked like they were just trying to pug it out for that one. They focused back up, they play it again, same style, and they punish every single piece of aggression that was coming out from Mouse. Even pieces that weren't aggression. They were just trying to cross long doors to get to the site, pop a little flash over on their way. No, says Device just spamming down mid and taking out, I think it was Rops trying to flash over, and then he went in for more. It's a different game than I expected. Regardless of the outcome, I think going towards Astralis 2-0 was certainly a possibility with a Dust2 pick, but in such a dominant fashion, I don't think many people saw this coming.
No, I really didn't. I was coming into this one, as I said, you said to me, you were thinking maybe mousesports could get to 2-0 with the way the maps had gone down. I was on the same wavelength. I was like, yeah, no, I'm expecting this to be a close one with the way the maps have actually gone with the previous or recent results of both of these teams. I was expecting us to have a close one. But it has been anything but that. Fortunately, we are getting back into it now, so we will get to see if maybe mousesports can begin to build up a little bit of a comeback. Obviously, though, a little bit of a comeback wouldn't be enough. They need to just make this happen. They need to get the victory here and try and take it onto a map number 3, as it is just going to be the straight up B rush. Right now, Magisk in the corner was blinded, but also a couple of the mousesports players, I believe, being slowed down by the flashes as well. And eventually, Magisk, once he gets vision, just taps away at the heads. It's all onto Frozen and Chris J. And they only managed to find 1 kill before they do indeed get cleaned up. So 15-1. One more round is all that Astralis need, and without a bomb plant, mousesports are extremely limited in this force buy.
Double scouts out yet again. It didn't have success before, but on the T side, they have a little bit more freedom to roam and look for those kills. They're up against a much stronger buy, and from the looks of things, a much stronger team. This is not the game mousesports were hoping for, but for Astralis, they needed this match to take them across the line and put themselves into a position where they will be continuing forward in Pro League. They've managed to do it by the looks of things, and if they can just find this round here, they will close it out with a successful 16-1 and an insanely dominant 32-4 series. Down goes one early on, but Carrigan is traded out. And with that, mousesports look to take the A-bomb site. They're pushing right into Device, who's sitting down on the bomb site, looking for them. He knows Chris J can be around CT, and he's trying to spot it, but also has to be worried about a player peeking up onto him. Mouse will late execute into short as well, so this is going to be a test for the A defenders.
Yeah, Christian in the CT spawn is in a lot of trouble now because they did realize that he actually got down there, so just flashing in, working together. Eventually Frozen able to pull one back. If he can take this player towards the long corner, who does only have an MP9 being Zipix, it could be difficult for him to hold, but that is a nicely timed nade. Able to get himself one. Molly goes in as well to try and delay Woxic from moving forward and getting that bomb planted. So at this point, he has to just try and take this fight, and it doesn't work out. Zipix able to get himself a nice crisp burst there with the MP9 to pick up a headshot. And with that Astralis, they take the 16-1. Not quite the 16-0. We didn't even see a single gun round actually in that map being won for mousesports. The one that they did win, they just had pistols and one saved up. So it was a little bit of a shocking performance from them.